Up to my next guest. I'm talking former presidential candidate Dennis Kucinich, who says that BP should be prepared to go higher, do more on the cleanup right now. Congressman, I'll ask you what I asked Mort, whether you can push too far. Can you hear me?
Okay, go ahead. I can hear you now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you push too far? Can you push BP to the point it falls off a cliff?
Well, we don't want BP to go bankrupt, because then there wouldn't be any assets from which to pay off their debts. But we have to recognize that the spill is still going on. It's a malevolent work in process. There's a lag time between the time the plume comes up out of the seabed and the time that it hits the shores. We don't know the extent of damages here. $20 billion could literally be a drop in the bucket when you consider the damage to tourism in the Gulf, the damage to human health, the damage to the environment, the offloading energy products. I mean, this is a situation which has taxed our ingenuity, our creativity, and also our sense of ethics as human beings, how far we can go to keep using oil, which has a limited and finite resource.
The oil argument notwithstanding, but would you, especially the way you addressed that, it's the real calamity is still going on, the leak is still leaking. Should we even be having a hearing like this today? I mean, is now the time, or would you save all this for after they fix the thing? Focus on that and then come back?
Neil, what I would want to know, and I don't know that this has come up yet, I want to know how long's this leak going to go on? Because if we're talking about millions and millions of gallons spilling out, we're talking about a change in the way of life. We're talking about profound change on our national agenda, which will require changes in energy and environment policy and human health policy. When those hurricanes start ripping through the Gulf of Mexico, think of the aerosolized hydrocarbons that just get carried hundreds of miles.
I know, but what I'm asking you is, would you do a hearing in the middle of this when that's still going on?
Oh, you have to, this is Congress. I mean, we do hearings all the time. You have to ask questions.
Why do you do hearings all the time?
Because the public has a right to know, just as you perform a service in giving the public information. The public needs to know what's going on, and they need to have the questions answered. How did this happen? How can we be sure it won't happen again?
And I'm not blowing smoke your way. When you ask a question, it doesn't go on and on and on, and you wait for an answer that usually is longer than the question you just gave. And my hat's off to you for that, because agree or disagree, you're very good at it. I don't know about some of your colleagues on the right or the left. They make these long stump speeches, and I'm wondering, watching this thing, look, we had nothing against it. FBN was live on it all day. We think it's a big ratings getter, so we stuck with it. My point is, though, man, oh, man, we wasted a lot of time. Nothing new was revealed outside of making, a punching bag of this guy.
Well, is there a theatrical basis to what goes on here? Of course there is.
You think?
But there's also a necessity to be able to hold people accountable. That's what the democratic process is about. And what I'm concerned about, Neil, is that we are not looking at the deeper questions here about the long-term impact on our nation. We're not making contingency plans for the worst-case scenario. The worst-case scenario is that this leak is unstoppable, and it will permanently change our way of life in this country. And I want to see, what are the answers to those questions? And we need scientists to do that.
You know what I don't see the answers to, or at least someone raised the question. If BP screwed up as much as it did, and God almighty, did it screw up a lot, where was all the American protectors and those in Congress and the protectors they oversee to protect? Where were they? And when these kind of issues were raised today, man, oh man, the guys raising them were practically vilified.
Well, the idea of good oil company, bad oil company, look, they're oil companies. They all spill oil into wherever they're drilling. We know that. What's happened in this, there was a lack of oversight. There were passes given to BP. They didn't have the kind of a contingency plan, if anybody could have, for this kind of a disaster. And now the whole nation is paying for it. We're all going to pay for it. Our children's children are going to pay for it. The question is, how do we limit the damage, and how do we prepare in case we can't stop the leak? What do we do?
Dennis Kucinich, always good seeing you again. Be well.
Good to see you, Neil. Thank you.